Hey guys, good morning. Am I about to start?
Sir, 1 minute. There is an introduction of chief guest, sir. Just 1 minute.
Okay.
A small technical glitch. Yeah. Just 1 minute.
Okay. No problem.
Let's compare.
Jayachandran has a total diversified work experience of 22 years, started his career with FM Exports, a merchant exporting firm. Thereafter, worked with two of the top 5 shipping lines in the world, P&O Netloyd Global Services and Hapag-Lloyd's Global Services. Later, he joined the offshore unit of Freight Systems Limited, a Dubai-based freight forwarding company, heading Singapore and Dubai offshore operations. In less than 3 years, he was elevated as branch manager, managing the operations for 13 countries. He served FSL for 7 years. He is the founder of Logwiz Institute of Shipping and Logistics, established in the year 2014. Prior Logwiz, he has associated with Encore Pyrian Logistics Business Services as functional head for business support services, handling both Chennai and Bangalore offices. Since 2015, he is heading an offshore unit of an US-based freight forwarding company as General Manager Operations. In his career, he was involved in various facets of shipping and logistics and has gained expertise both in captive and third-party logistics service provider space. He is very passionate about training. Out of his sheer interest, he has taken many induction programs for the new joiners and refreshment courses for the existing staff in the organization he has worked with. His insight to the domain and people management skills have been much appreciated by industry experts. His self-confidence, vision, hard work, dedication, and determination are the keys for him to achieve various milestones, and to evident it, he had been recognized and chosen as a best employee for the year. He has traveled across Middle East, USA, France, Germany, Turkey, UK, and Singapore for migrating various freight forwarding processes to offshore location. He had done his graduation in Maths and Masters in International Business. Adding to it, he has done various domestic and international courses which enhanced his knowledge in shipping and logistics industry. Also, he has attended many leadership trainer programs from various institutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Ramita. I kindly request the chief guest to take over the session. The session is yours.
Thank you for the introduction. I'm very glad today to be part of this orientation. In fact, I see that many colleges are coming forward to invite people like us who are presently associated with the industry, and to give our insight of the industry as such. Because I've seen now many colleges also very flexible to fine tune your course material according to the industry needs. So I'm very glad to hear about that. Thanks to all the students who took your time to come to this webinar. So I'm told that I should talk a little about shipping and logistics. That's my forte. Shipping and logistics, in a sense, logistics service provider space. Meaning, I kind of believe that you guys know what is logistics is all about, right? It's about moving the goods, okay, from one place to another. In simple terms, okay, when we move the same thing to country to another country, we consider it as international movement, which international business, right? In order to move the goods from one country to another, you need, or you really depend upon the means of transport. So this means of transport or the transportation, what we call as logistics. So internationally, if you see, there are three major means of transport, which is air, ocean, and land. Out of which ocean is very predominant, which is about 90% of the global business. So which is super majority, isn't it? So 7 to 8% is air, and less than 2% is land. So which means if you see many logistics companies, if you see, they are more of a ocean based, because that carries a maximum weightage of the goods, because of the sheer size of the vessel, because it can carry, there is no limitation for the ship to carry anything like merely, which is not possible. So which means that is a major thing. And not only that, ocean is one of the out of the three cheapest mode of transportation. In fact, it is more cheaper than the road itself. Okay, and but only drawback is ocean is not very time bound thing, because as an example, let's say Chennai to New York, it normally takes on a vessel, it takes 30 to 40 days, as against an aircraft air freight, it would take less than a day. 18 hours, there's a straight flight from Bombay to New York, let's say. So compare 18 hours versus not 18 hours, in fact 16 hours, 16 hours versus 30 days. That's the transit difference. So therefore, high value goods, therefore a very time bound activity, time bound shipments, perishable goods are mostly considered to be moved on air, but otherwise any general commodity is moved on a ship, we call vessel. But land freight is also contribute to close to 1 to 2%. Many countries are well connected through land. As an example, US, Canada, Singapore, Malaysia, entire Middle East, Dubai, Muscat, Qatar, Kuwait, and even Europe. Entire Europe, you see France, Germany, Netherlands, Sweden, and Portugal. Everything is connected by a road. But still, road is still contributing to only 2%, because the volume of the cargoes are much lesser. This is one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is the value of the goods. We spoke about the volume of the goods, which is about 90% carried on ocean. But if you take the value of the goods, minimum of 30% of the global value, the goods value, is moved on air. What it means is, if it is a very high value goods, people prefer to move on air, even though it's very pricey, but then because they can afford it, right? And it can come much faster. So therefore, the high value goods are mostly preferred to move on air, because it's much safer, because it's not getting transited for 30 days or so. Probably you can consider moving the air freight. Sorry. Probably you can consider moving the cargo.
Guys, put yourself in the mute mode, please.
Okay. So firstly, am I audible? Like, am I clear?
Sir, you're clear, very clear.
Yeah, perfect.
Yes.
So as I told you, people prefer to move more cargoes on air, okay, because if it is very high value goods. So that's how it goes. So now we kind of understood what is logistics, right? It's logistics about moving the goods. If at all you want to move goods, you have to choose either of these three options. But land option is not for every country. Similarly, ocean is also not an option for every country, because every country is not connected through sea. So we take it to the nearest port to the country, and then probably we'll consider to airlift from that port or road. Sometimes you can directly move in air also. So so far so good. So should I make it a little interactive, or can I ask questions, or should I just continue? How do you want me to go?
Sir, you can ask questions.
Yeah, okay. So which means so far is fine with till the mode of transportation. Any questions?
Second year students, if you have any questions regarding the mode of transport, you can ask.
Okay, I assume we are good to go.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes.
Okay, fine. So today, because we know this, Um, See now, as I told you, I'll focus on the logistics service provider space, meaning somebody who's offering logistics as a service through an aircraft or a vessel or a road transport. So that's the topic I'm going to cover, and from the perspective of the digital eye, because today everything is getting digitalized. Shipping industry is, I mean, they are a little behind, but nevertheless, we are also catching up because we are not. This industry doesn't change very dynamically, so therefore it goes little slow. But now of late it's gaining momentum post pandemic, I would say, because now we are forced to work from home, forced to manage things from remote. So therefore it is not a lesson that it's very high time that even shipping industry has to be digitalized, and it should be remote, more or less. I mean, apart from the activities which is conducted in port, rest all the documentation processes, customer service, the operations documentation, everything can be performed from the remote location. Yeah. Okay. So see, there are two major service providers who offers logistics as a service. We call them one as the shipping line, another one as the freight forwarding companies. Shipping line meaning, or carrier you call, otherwise masters we call. They are the one who own and operate vessels. Vessel meaning ship. So as an example, Maersk Line. I'm sure you all know this name, little familiar. You must have seen containers on the roadside. Maersk, Hapag, CMA, MSC, Evergreen, MOL, APL. These are all top 10 shipping companies. At least Evergreen, everybody would know, right? I think 1 year before, probably a vessel got stuck in the Suez Canal, if you all know. Ever given. The vessel got stuck and it took maybe 10-15 days to probably move the vessel, right? So that vessel, if you see the capacity of that vessel was 18,000 containers, which is 18,000 TEU in our terms, we call 20 feet equivalent unit, which means 120 feet length container is 1 TEU. So which is about 18,000 container plus. Such is the vessel size. So those vessels are operated or owned by the shipping line. That's what is the primary logistics service provider. That is one group. Another group is freight forwarding companies like DHL. If you all know DHL, we all know in India as a courier company, right? But they are world #1 freight forwarding company. Okay, in India they are established themselves as a courier company. They do have freight services in India, but they are not strong people in India, right? So DHL is #1 in the world. Kune Nagel, Expeditas, Shankars, Panalpina. These are all, I mean, all the top 10 companies are not Indian based, be it shipping line or be it freight forwarding company. They're all like American and European companies. So, but in India, Indian companies like freight forwarding side, India is, I mean, in India, the #1 company is All Cargo Forwarding Services, and also the Team Global. They are the top 2 freight forwarding companies in India, but globally they are not. I mean, at least All Cargo in top 20 in the world, but Team Global is like not in par with All Cargo, perhaps. So these are the 2 entities. Liner, I told you, somebody who owns and operates ships, whereas the freight forwarding company, they don't own and operate any vessel, but still they offer logistics service by utilizing the services of the shipping line, by the trucker, the custom agent, the brokers, insurance companies, ports, warehouses, everything. So which means it's like Make My Trip you can consider, right? Or Make My Trip or Book My Show. It's something like that. So meaning they provide a platform for the all the exporters and importers, wherein you can approach a freight forwarding company and make a booking with the shipping line or the airline. Okay. And then invariably these forwarding companies will make the booking with the shipping line and move the goods. So it's like, I directly go to hotel and make the booking, or I make a booking through makemytrip.com or expedia.com or any other travel websites, right? So there is always a good reason that we do it, because they give a multiple in the same website. I can book hotel as well as flight. Likewise, if you go to a forwarding company, they primarily do end-to-end service, because they don't own a vessel or an aircraft or a warehouse or a trucker, nothing. So they work collaboratively with these service providers and give you a bundled package. Whereas the shipping line is primarily focusing on the ocean transportation, which is from port to port. So therefore, what happens, if at all you're moving, not everybody would prefer to move only port to port, because from somewhere you have to move to the port, right? Which is a pre-carriage, we say. Ocean carriage from, let's say, Chennai to Hong Kong is the main carriage. From Chennai, Chengalpet or Kanchipuram, for example, or Coimbatore as an example. So Coimbatore to Chennai you move, so which is the pre-carriage. So that has to be via road. So, but those shipping lines also give road transportation, but then it's not very viable for everybody. But still, so therefore they go to separately to a transporting company, road transport company, or you come to the forwarding company. So what happens is end-to-end forwarding company gives service, which includes custom clearance and everything in both the borders, origin and destination. So which means we all today prefer to give to one vendor who manages for us the door-to-door services, right? Because if you don't do it, you may have to deal with 10 different vendors, which means 10 different times you have to negotiate rates. You have to pay 10 different times. Okay, and any one person screws up, the entire supply chain is getting affected. So therefore, people prefer to work with freight forwarding companies rather than directly going to the shipping line. Okay, because, but on the other side, if you want to move a shipment on air, okay, on an air cargo, as air cargo, you have no choice but to go to the forwarding company, because nobody can go to the airline directly and make the booking. I'm talking about the cargo. Passenger is possible, but if you're moving a cargo on an aircraft, you cannot go to the airline company directly, because airline don't work with individuals, or they don't work with any company as such. They work only with the freight forwarding company. Okay, which means you have to go and make the booking with the freight forwarding company, and freight forwarding company will make the booking with the airline. That too, if they have IATA certificate, which is International Air Transport Association, they have to get registered with that. Only then airline will take the booking. So which means if anybody is exporting a goods via air, so they have no choice but to work with the forwarding companies only. So these are the two entities, the freight forwarding company and the shipping line, carrier. When I say carrier, that includes both airline and ocean line. Airline, you all know, right? Lufthansa, Emirates, Air India, any airline, they also have cargo aircraft, most probably. So those people take cargo aircraft. Not only cargo aircraft is separate, but they are called freighters, we call. Apart from that, even the passenger aircraft takes good amount of cargo, not passengers cargo. The passenger cargo is obvious. Apart from that, they also take commercial goods for which we need to pay. But then the volume of the goods are much lesser because it's partially occupied by the passengers. But otherwise, if it is height is middle or higher, probably they consider loading on a cargo aircraft. Any questions right now? We spoke about the service provider. Who are the service providers? They're the two entities. So only these two entities provide international services to move your cargo from one country to another, any country for that matter. So these companies, they adapt some technologies to deliver the service that they promise to the customers. So using the technology that is available today. So that is the next thing I'm going to cover. So meanwhile, you guys have any questions? A shipping line, airline, about any cargoes moved on ship and aircraft, something?
Guys, any question? Sir, we can go ahead.
Okay, perfect. So I think I'll try and share a presentation maybe. So we'll move a little faster, but I guess I have 1 hour time, right? It's by a big topic by itself. I think I'm not able to share my screen. I guess the host has to enable me. Is it okay? I don't mind if I don't share a screen. Is that okay? Okay, no problem. Okay, so when you talk about technology, the one thing which is very important, which is about adapting. Okay, one have to be very responsive or adaptive to change. If you are not changing, then technology is not for you, right? Because it's keep evolving. If you don't change, perhaps you get obsolete, which means you are good for nothing. right? And technology-wise, you have to force yourself, or you have to volunteer yourself to change. If not, you forcefully have to undergo a change. So that way, there are very good solid reasons, okay, for us basically to adapt the technology. Because why we have to go to technology first? Because there are external factors and internal factors for us to force to move into change. One is for our industry, whatever I'm talking from the context of the logistics service provider, right? Because the market is expanding. For you to expand, okay, you have to go technology, because which means scaling up in technology is much easier. Meaning, if I do any manual work or so, for me, scaling up is a problem because it's very extensively manpower consumption, right? So that is actually a hindrance for me to grow. So therefore, the high market expectation is there. Then also, when I say market expectation, that also comes with the competition. So I got to be very competent with other service providers. So therefore, when I adapt to technology, perhaps I can be a pioneer in delivering certain services which other people are lacking behind. And next is the government regulations. So today, government regulations keep changing. They need information not on a document, but on a digital form. So in order to present that, we'll study that in detail when you go to the next slides, etc., etc. But for now, because government needs data, right? When you move a shipment on air or ocean, all the data, who's the exporter, who's the importer, what cargo is it, there are a lot of information that government is required. Export is obvious, import because the duty element is involved. So obviously